The Curse of Ashwood Hollow. Ashwood Hollow wasn't like the other trailer parks scattered around town. It sat in a run-down pocket of forest, where the roads were nothing but gravel and mud, and the trailers leaned to one side like they'd been abandoned. It was the kind of place people only ended up if they didn't have anywhere else to go. Jimmy Lee and his cousin Ray had grown up there, surrounded by the wreckage of rusted cars and the scent of old cigarettes. Folks said that strange things happened out in Ashwood Hollow, and that certain spots in the park were haunted or cursed. Most just laughed it off as old superstition. But no one ever stayed long in Trailer 6. The story was that a family had lived there once, years back. A mom, dad, and 2 kids. No one knew exactly what happened, but the rumor was that the father went mad. One night, neighbors had heard screaming. By morning, the family was gone, and the trailer was found torn apart inside. Some said they saw shadows flitting around the windows. Others said they heard a sound like nails scraping on metal. Trailer 6 sat empty for years after that, and whenever someone tried to move in, they'd be gone within days. But Jimmy Lee didn't believe in curses, and he was desperate for his own space. He figured the place just needed a little cleaning up, and soon he'd have it looking decent enough. So he and Ray hauled in a couple of beat-up mattresses and a cooler, laughing about how they'd finally have a place to drink without anyone bothering them. Their first night was quiet. They lay in the dark, laughing and swapping stories. But as midnight crept closer, the trailer started to creak, and a cold breeze swept through, chilling them to the bone. Then they heard it. The steady sound of something tapping against the walls. Ray joked, "It's just a rat or something." But his voice had a nervous edge. The tapping grew louder, more insistent. Jimmy Lee grabbed a flashlight and stepped outside, shining it along the trailer. There was nothing there, just the twisted remains of weeds and garbage scattered around. They shrugged it off, but the noise only got worse. Around 2 a.m., they heard a low, guttural groan echo through the trailer. It sounded like it was coming from the back room, the one where the family's 2 kids had stayed all those years ago. Jimmy Lee felt his heart start to race, but he forced himself to get up and check. When he stepped into the room, the flashlight flickered, casting long shadows that seemed to stretch and breathe. Just as he was about to leave, he saw a faint outline on the wall, 2 handprints smeared in something dark and faded like old blood. "Ray, we gotta go," he muttered, but Ray was already at the door, pale and shivering. As they scrambled to leave, the trailer shook, as if something huge had slammed against it. A voice, low and guttural, seeped out of the walls. "You're not welcome here." They bolted, stumbling out into the cold night. When they looked back, they saw a figure in the window, dark, twisted, and watching them with eyes that gleamed with rage. The next morning they gathered their things and left Ashwood Hollow, never speaking of what they'd seen. Trailer 6 sat empty once again, its broken windows and peeling paint giving it a haunted look that no one dared disturb. To this day, folks avoid Ashwood Hollow, especially Trailer 6. Some swear they still see that dark figure in the window, staring out into the woods with a look that warns no one ever leaves the hollow without a piece of it sticking to their soul.